Hello, this is Blanca with Your Health is Your Greatest Wealth, and I am very excited to introduce my good friend Temna Sturdivant. She is driven to teach health and has her own unique story of how she got there. And she is living proof that medication and surgery are not the only solutions. And with that in mind, Temna, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are today.
I would love to. I'm excited to be here. So, I always believe, sharing your journey in life in health is so important because then others can learn from it and they can discover things that they didn't realize were out there to help them with their health. And so I think I'll start with that. Let me share my story and then I'll go into more of my professional career. So, since infancy, I literally was brought up and raised in a holistic minded family. My dad had his accounting degree, and because of some things that he went through with the medical field with himself as well as my older brother, he decided that he was going to find an alternative route to have his family and raise his family in. So he went back to college and got his master's in herbal medicine. So when I came along, I that's all we knew. That's all I knew is when we didn't feel well, we would take herbs and we would take homeopathic remedies. We would use the frequency machine. We would use all different, essential oils way before people really used those things. My dad did that back in 1970s. Now I'm putting my age on things. And so then when I was older, about the age of 12, I started working with him in his clinic. And in his clinic, he had a complete wellness clinic. Um, it just really emphasized to me how much people needed to find alternative remedies because I really saw firsthand how useful they were with all sorts of symptoms and what we call diseases. I saw how people were really lost. They didn't have the benefit like I did of being raised in a holistic minded culture. They were used to going to the doctors and then they just did things that route and didn't realize there were other routes that they could take in order to benefit their health. And you can do it coinciding with the medical field. So I decided when I got older to go to college and actually expand on my knowledge and went to the International Academy of Natural Health Sciences. And that's where I received my certification in bioenergy and nutrition and reflexology and iridology. And so those are very phenomenal sciences that I, was able to put under my belt. I love them. And we'll probably talk about those another time. But moving forward, I ended up having my own issues. Life is life, stress is stress, and genetics is genetics. And you can try to be as healthy as you would like to. I always take my herbs, I take care of myself. But all of a sudden, one day I woke up with stabbing pain in my lower back. And this was actually about 9 years ago now. And it was debilitating. I couldn't walk on my left leg. It was not functioning. It was just paralyzed. And I couldn't even use, the ladies' room. I was peeing on myself, to be frank. So the pain, the discomfort, not being able to use my left leg, I obviously was like, what the heck? And I did go to the doctors and they did an MRI and they said that I had stage 4 degenerative disc. They also said that I had, everything that goes with it. So I had pars fracture, but arthritis and stenosis and again spondylosis. So it was just it was a mess in my lower back. And so that's why I wasn't able to use my leg, but the pain was excruciating and I was actually in a wheelchair. Moving forward, I went to a couple different doctors to get some different suggestions and the doctor said all of them, I went to 3 different doctors and they said, "Temna, your only option is surgery." Now, I by this time had also acquired my massage therapy license and I saw the results of surgery on my clients and it wasn't the path that I wanted to take at such a young age for myself. So knowing what I know with the body, I said, I asked if I could have a couple, weeks, and basically 3 months, and see if there was some alternative things that I could try to, you know, have the situation, at least to manage the pain. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to reverse the situation, obviously, because of the condition. So I tapped into my resources. I was able to grab hold of a clinical advanced massage therapist, and he did so many techniques to help. And I actually was able to get out of the wheelchair. I also incorporated frequency medicine, or excuse me, frequency quantum medicine. I also incorporated herbs, and definitely diet and herbs, and just maintaining stress levels. So really honing in on my self-care routine, because the body needs every aspect of life, right, to help rejuvenate itself. And so, beautiful thing, I was able to, the day before surgery, actually, I'll never forget, I was managing my pain, and I called the doctor, the neurosurgeon. I said, "Hey, can I come in for a visit?" So when I walked in, I put on my, cute jeans and my stilettos, and he looked at me and he's like, "Temna, you're in stilettos." And he's like, "You're not in any pain?" I was like, "Well, not today. I've been able to manage my pain." And I shared with him what I did, and he couldn't believe it. So needless to say, he said, we can cancel your surgery for tomorrow. So that was a blessing. And so my story is from wheelchair to stilettos. And, here I am, 9 years later, and I still have not had to have back surgery. I've been really pioneering and teaching my clients just the same as that is medication and surgery. They're not the only options. There are so many other things that are out there that you can do to prevent or complement. And that's what I'm here all about, really, is to pioneer all the different modalities that has helped me, the ones that I've been able to help others to support their health, and really just educate people on the different things that are out there that here in maybe the area or even in the States, a lot of people they don't realize they have access to these options. So, yeah, that's my story, and I'm here to hopefully inspire others to, again, reach out and see that there are other options, and I am willing, to share those options with you.
That's great. And I do have to commend you. There are many people that don't ever question what doctors tell them. So they go ahead and follow along instead of taking their health into their own empowerment. So I have to commend you for doing that and just taking ownership of your own healing. And that's very impressive that you walked in with stilettos. So
Thank
that's
you.
great. So, Temna, I have so many questions to ask you.
Sure.
And I'm sure our listeners have similar questions like I do. You have used lots of terms that, quite honestly, prior to me receiving your bio, I did not know what they were. You mentioned a frequency quantum medicine. So
Yeah.
let's start with that. Tell us a
Sure.
bit more about that.
Okay, I would love to. So to start, I'm not the one that obviously coined the term. Years and years ago, Einstein, which we all know that name, he actually is quoted by saying that the future medicine will be frequencies. So frequencies, it's all physics. So it's a very intricate science. So if you want to do some research, you might want to do that on your own for a little bit, just because I only have so much time to talk right now. But so basically, the cells in everything that's alive has a cellular frequency, right? It's the energy that it's oscillating, and the frequency is actually the measurement of the oscillation or the energy of that cell. So everything that's alive has a frequency, and there's a lot of factors and variables that can affect the frequency of the cell or the energy of a cell. Factors such as hydration, factors such as eating, your eating habits, what nutrients are being put or not put into the body in a cellular level, stress, that can affect it, genetics, different pathogens. All those things can affect the health of the cell, which determines if the cell's frequency is going to be in balance or out of balance, either running higher with inflammation or lower with fatigue. But cellular health is really, really important. You want to maintain the health of the cell in order to have optimal frequency, that cell at its optimal frequency. So extending that out, frequency therapy, or what else is called frequency quantum medicine. What that is it's a frequency generator. So it's a tool that's used in order to generate frequencies to the targeted body and even the targeted cell, so that it sends that frequency into the body, and it kind of talks to the cell. It's like it's biofeedback saying, "Hey cell, how are you? Is your frequency where it's supposed to be? Are you running at a frequency that, yeah, where it's supposed to be?" And then if the cell will give it so-called feedback to say, "You know what, I'm a little sluggish." And so that information is recorded, but then the frequency that is needed in order to optimize that cell's frequency to bring it back into balance is also generated, so that the cell feels in balance and feels better. So in doing that, remember, we're trillions of cells, right? So maintaining the balance and the health of a cell using these kinds of frequency optimization techniques is extremely important for cell rejuvenation, cell health, which extends to every single body organ and gland and system that is made up of these cells. So, in doing frequency medicine, when I was doing it then, I was using a particular scanner called the AO scan. And now the beautiful thing is the AO scan now has a sister company. So you can actually have those kinds of frequencies in an app form. So now, by having the app, I'm actually teaching people how to use the app. They also have basic training, but you have access to all those different frequencies that can help to optimize your body's frequencies, and then obviously that is what can help you maintain your health. So does that, hopefully that explains it a bit enough to at least get your curiosity, and then we can always talk and deeper scientific ways later.
Absolutely. And Temna, I do want to ask you about that because you exposed me and educated me about your AO app. And what really resonated with me is that, unknowns to me, I was already exposed to some of those frequencies that you talked about. I've been listening to binaural beats for quite some time. And your app happens to have that. I love it because it helps me sleep at night. Sometimes I listen to different waves like theta waves, delta waves. So definitely that is something that we will delve into when I have you back as a guest
Sure, would
because
love
there
to.
is just so much there. But because our time is limited and there's so many other things I wanted to ask you, you are so impressive with all of your accolades and titles. And again, so you are naturopath, a bio and energy consultant,
Yes.
a holistic iridologist, a certified herbalist, a certified reflexologist, and as you mentioned, a quantum living advocate. For our listeners at home that are not familiar with those terms, can you describe all of those accolades and titles a little bit for us so that we
Yeah.
understand your work?
Sure, and I'll ask you to share with me one by one, so I don't forget, because it's quite a
Absolutely.
few. Yeah, obviously I'm a continuous learner. Like I said, there's so much out there, and I love to learn, and there's even more out there, underneath my belt. But each one of those is very, very key to my approach to health and wellness. So first, being a traditional naturopath, that's indicating that I like to use traditional methods, natural methods, to help support the body, also find out what the root cause of the issues are in a person. So that might be urine sample with saliva, muscle response testing. So there's different ways that you can actually find out the root cause of a individual's issues, but also to be able to support their body's weaknesses with natural things, right? So natural path or naturopath, that's exactly what it is. It's showing individuals how they can lead their path or their journey in wellness naturally, whether it's with, again, foods, water, exercise. All those things are your natural path. Affirmations, meditation, all those things support your body's health and your natural path. in your wellness journey. And then the next one to hone in on is bioenergy and nutritional consultant. So that's this bioenergy is a study of energy of the body. So bio means body and energy is energy. Again, so it's on that cellular level, like we talked about earlier. So it's studying nutrition on a cellular level, how nutrients affect the cell. And that can encompass your supplements, your vitamins, your minerals, your trace minerals. So you have your macro, your micro minerals, and the different supplements, and even obviously foods where you are to ultimately get your vitamins and minerals from, right? So you get your vitamins from fruits and vegetables, you have your minerals. So just helping individuals through consultation to, share with them on a cellular level what nutrients would be suggested for them. Then the other, let's see, clinical and holistic iridologist. So iridology is the study of the topography of the iris of the eyes. So basically, the iris of the eyes is the colored part of the iris, whether you have blue eyes or brown eyes or hazel eyes. So all of those different colors. Now I can imagine everyone's going to be looking in the mirror and opening their eyes. But all the colors and even the topography of the iris, it's, windows to the soul. You through the iris, absolutely. So through the iris, there's things that are shared as far as health conditions of the liver, the organs, the glands, the thyroid, hypothalamus, the kidneys. So it's just another tool, another natural, non-invasive tool that is used in order to peer into the body and see what's going on. And these sciences have actually been around for obviously forever, right? So it's nothing new, but it's something that has just developed and been exposed a bit more over the years. Okay. As a matter of fact, iridology, little fun fact, it was actually in the medical fields in the books years ago, just like herbs and things like that. And so, and now things have taken a change for, in a different route in the medical field. But yeah, it was actually used, and a lot of medical doctors around the world still use iridology in their practice. So it's really neat to have this as a modality under my belt. It's a very good modality. So that covers iridology. And then obviously being a certified herbalist. So just understanding the chemistry of herbs and how they interact with the body and the different herbs, how they support your body in different ways. Plants are what, in my opinion, our creator or God gave to us, right? To give us the nutrients. So we have plants that we eat on a daily basis that are foods, but then there's also higher vibration plants or higher that we can use in order to really like herbs, right? Herbal medicine in order to help support the body. So that's using herbs is a wonderful thing, and there are very powerful herbs out there that help support the body's immune system on so many different levels. I have to watch my words. But in any event, so that's, like I said, that's herbs. And then did I cover them all or was that?
We have reflexology.
So I love reflexology. My goodness. Actually, after I went to college, after I went to school for reflexology, I went to Indonesia and I learned several of the variations. I went over, did a trip to Asia and did learn variations like the Balinese reflexology and things like that. But so to keep it simple, in your feet, you have over 7,000 nerve endings. So your entire nervous system, it's impressive, right?
Yes,
Your
it is.
entire, yeah, your entire nervous system travels all throughout the body, but all the nerve endings are at the feet. So when you apply acupressure techniques on the feet, and they are in specific strategic patterns and ways, it actually sends a stimulus up into the nervous system and it addresses the corresponding body organ. So it's a wonderful way to, I call it giving your body an internal massage. That's really what it is. Massage feels great. And like I said, I have my massage therapy license, but having reflexology is just a whole nother gamut to really help you relax from the inside. And that's the beautiful thing about reflexology. Mhm.
That's awesome. Temna, I just wanted to add that in the past, I had no idea how sensitive our feet are to all those nerve endings that you said. I'm a runner, I'm a distance runner. I do half marathons and marathons as well. And I started getting foot massages
Nice.
because I'm on my feet so much. I mean, they really get overused sometimes. And I think that's one body part that we honestly don't think about when we're getting massages. And it just felt so good. And after I had my first foot massage, I asked myself, why have I not done this sooner? It just felt great. I feel like so many things loosened up. So thank you for talking about that. And
Sure.
again, I have so many questions. So going back to when you were talking about the bioenergy and supplementation, for those of our listeners that are questioning why supplementation is necessary and why can't they just get the nutrients they need from the normal foods they eat, what would be your response to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the fact of it is, and this is, again, you can Google and read more about it, but the fact of it is the soil, unfortunately, here is not fulfilling the needs of nutrients for humans. So basically, what's happening is the vegetables and the produce, that we are being fed are not as nutritious as they used to be years ago. The soil just does not have the mineral content that it did, 10, 20 years ago. I do remember myself when I was growing up, we had a garden, and when we would eat the fruits and vegetables from that garden, it just tasted like robust. It tasted amazing. The color of the food was just, tomato was so red, and just the flavor of it was really just sweet and tasty. And you didn't even have to put anything on it. It just tasted amazing. Ironically enough, the higher the mineral content of the earth, the more natural sugars you'll taste in the plant. And there's a tool that's called the refractometer. And that tool is actually used in agriculture to test the amount of sugars are in the soil to determine that mineral content of the soil. So with that device, the mineral content of the soil has definitely been lower. And so in a nutshell, you need to supplement in order to offset what you're not getting in your foods. That's it, period. I read a study and it said a bowl of spinach years ago, the nutritional content now is equivalent to a couple pounds of spinach. So definitely you have to supplement every day to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that you need. Mhm.
That is great to know. So, Temna, you mentioned frequency medicine. Why have many of us not heard of this type of medicine and healing? Did I put you on the spot?
You sure did. Well,
You mentioned this started with Albert Einstein, that the
yeah,
concept of quantum is not new, it's been around. I
absolutely.
know it's new terminology to me just in the last couple of years, even
Hmm.
though it's been around longer than I've been alive. So can you maybe just talk about that?
Yeah. Well, again, you have two different routes here in the United States. You have the medical route that is there, and then you have the holistic route. And it seems like it's always evolved into those two complete separate directions that you can take with your health. So individuals that are more medical minded, they know the medical way. And those that are more holistic minded, they know the holistic route, right? And so in the holistic field, um, frequencies and herbs and all these different things, they are very well known. Um, and again, worldwide, they have the technology in Germany and the different countries, Japan, and just different countries that are using frequencies, and it's not unusual. It's not a new thing, a new modality. So I just think it's because here the exposure of it in the States is different, and Again, I was born and raised in a holistic minded household, whereas I found, obviously, the majority of Americans are born and raised thinking as soon as you have a cold, you run to the store and you get over the counter medicine, or anyways, the process is a lot different. And when we were growing up, the process was, no, you go under the, frequency machine, and you take your echinacea and your golden seal and your garlic, and you just, lay in bed and if you had a fever, you would do a garlic enema. That's just what you did. And you took all of your herbs and you went under under the frequency machine. So I think that, again, just because culture here in the States is a whole lot different than other places. And you didn't hear of frequencies as frequently as we should have, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for that explanation, Temna. As you know, this platform, Your Health is Your Greatest Wealth, the goal is to help our listeners shift their mindset on what they think about medicine and what's associated with healing. So that completely explained a lot. And I hope
Good,
it
I'm
helps
glad.
shift people's mindset about what we normally think of as medicine or healing. Temna, was there anything else that you wanted to cover about any of your titles or your quantum healing, reflexology?
Modalities. Um, let's see. Just the fact that it sounds, it's a beautiful array of titles, but ultimately the goal is I just really enjoy empowering individuals to see again that there's other things out there besides medication and surgery. I think all of us, though, ultimately are responsible for our health. All of us are responsible to do deep dives and do research on different modalities and be comfortable with them. But ultimately, again, you're responsible for your own health and creating a self care routine. I call it your self care healthcare routine that works for you. So I like what I do even in my practice is I help individuals throughout the day. If they do have a busy lifestyle, well, let's see where you can fit in some meditation. Let's see where you can fit in using your frequency app. Let's see where you can fit in going outside and getting some sun so you have not only vitamin D but melatonin being produced in the body. Just really honing in on your self-care routine, and if you need guidance, there's holistic practitioners like myself and others that's what we're here for. We do this because we really care about people. We love to see people feel better. I love people. I want people to, feel amazing. And there are obviously natural ways to do that. But if I could just put that as the biggest key is put together a self-care routine that works. Get your water in, have your juices. Those have a lot of vitamins and minerals and supplements. Take your supplements. Like I said, vitamin D, you might even get a handheld massager and you just use that massager on your neck and your shoulders and you have your little afternoon self-care routine. Why not? So that's the biggest thing I want people to understand and really put as a mindset. I am responsible for my health. Your health is not in the hands of anyone else but you. All of us here are here to help you. Temna, I'm here to help you in your health journey. And I would love to, be a part of yours if you feel that we're a fit. Sure.
That's great. So, Temna, you may have already answered this, but I'm going to formally ask it. So,
Sure.
this is a health and wellness channel with the goal of helping our listeners make mind shift and habit changes to value their health as their greatest wealth. So, with that in mind, I would like to gift our viewers with a framework to help them improve their health. What is a strategy, tool, or piece of advice that you can offer our listeners to help them improve their own health?
Okay. I love that. Absolutely. So the first and foremost, your mental and emotional health is 85% of your physical, like your whole well-being. So I always say, number one, check in on yourself mentally and emotionally. Who are you vibing with? Who is your tribe? Are they like-minded people? Are they keeping you at a higher frequency? That's the quantum level. Are they supporting your endeavors? And likewise, are you like that with them? But having a tribe to maintain that higher vibe That's huge. That's important because again, your health is 85% of your mental and emotional well-being. Okay, so that's number one. And then number two, you have to eat as healthy as you can, especially because the foods that you're eating are not as fortified and full of nutrients like they should. So try to buy as much fresh as possible from local farmers. Go ahead and get fresh fish and, again, eat produce, not products. You can control those and make those decisions. You can do that. If you don't have time to cook, there's so many different food services out there now that deliver things to your home that are just they're healthy and natural. So that's number two. Number three is exercise. Your body was not meant to sit when you're young at a desk for most of the hours of the day. Your body was not meant to sit as an adult in front of a computer all day. Our bodies were meant to move. We were meant to be squatting down and putting the seeds in the ground so they grow. And then when they're grown, to be reaching up with our arms and grabbing those fruits and eating them. Our bodies were meant to move. So that's number three. Make sure you exercise. And then number four, water. If your body has a capability of dying within 3 days of not drinking water, that shows how important it is to drink water. You don't want to have your body dehydrate on a cellular level. If you want to have a picture in your mind of what dehydration is all about, think of beef jerky. That is dehydrated flesh, dehydrated meat. So, on a cellular level, you need to be hydrated. Otherwise, you will not have nutrients and oxygen and blood flow and proper fluids flowing back and forth the way they should and the way the body should function on that cellular level. So those are really the four key things that I'm going to, share as tidbits. And yeah, I hope that they help. Wait, the fifth thing. Let's wrap it up. That self-care routine, everyone should have it. That self-care, healthcare routine. Get up in the morning and have that hour to your self-care. Create that routine and multitask. You might brush your teeth and listen to your binaural beats at the same time, right? In the evening, have that 1 hour downtime before you go to bed where you put away the laptop and you listen to your tones, you do some meditation, some reading, whatever. But those things help for you to maintain your health.
So many nuggets of wisdom. And thank you for adding the fifth. I have been working on sleep hygiene myself. Sometimes there's just stresses during the day, and having that nighttime routine to just wind down to get a better night's sleep, it's so crucial. I could keep asking you questions all day. I know we're out of time. You are fabulous. I would love our listeners to be able to find out more about you. Is there a website they can find out more about you? And if so, am I able to share it with our listeners here today?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, please share.
I would love to have you back on Your Health is Your Greatest Wealth to just dive in deeper to so many more questions that I have. So would you be willing to come back?
Oh my goodness, of course. That's what I love to do is share because I care.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Temna Sturdivant, and
You're
thank you
welcome.
for being here with us today on Your Health is Your Greatest Wealth.